There's a lot going on in the world of Magic the Gathering right now. Wizards of the Coast has announced a big event where you can win amazing prizes like a foil set of Innistrad Crimson Vow or Mox artwork. On top of that, we have updates to Magic the Gathering's Color Pie and a fun little flavor tidbit to talk about as well.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The Magic Historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another installment of Mega Magic News. On the docket today, we have multiple Magic events to talk about. We also have updates to Magic the Gathering's Color Pie. And if you didn't know, the Color Pie is essentially a balancing concept for Magic the Gathering, but we'll touch on that more when we get to that part of the story. Now, the final thing we're going to end up with is one of those little, haha, have a laugh flavor kind of setups. But I want to dive into the event information because for me, that is the most exciting thing we have to discuss. The Eternal Weekend is a pretty wild concept. And one of the reasons I like it so much is that it is accessible to everybody. So the idea is Wizards of the Coast is doing an all-access MTGO event. So if you're already familiar with Magic Arena, MTGO is like the precursor to Arena. It is an older piece of software that allows you to play Magic the Gathering using all of the cards that exist in the game. Although I will admit that the interface is more clunky than Arena's interface. So MTGO has access to all the cards, but doesn't flow as smoothly as Arena, because let's be real, Arena's got some serious bugs too. But put all that aside and just understand that for everybody, you can get access to all the cards on MTGO for like 2 full weeks. The idea behind it is, now it's not a free event, okay? So the all access pass costs $25. Let me pull up my notes with the details. So you can buy this pass on November the 15th. The event itself, it's called Eternal Weekend 2021, but it's actually 2 weekends. So it happens November 19th to the 21st and also the 26th to the 28th. But you can buy the pass on the 15th and have access to all of the cards available on MTGO up until the 28th. So basically, you can have half a month to have access to all the MTGO cards. There are a few exclusions, but overall, I imagine that's not really going to make any difference. You have access to virtually every Magic card ever made. There are like 25,000 different Magic cards. So if you've never really experienced the depth and breadth of what Magic has to offer, you can set yourself up an MTGO account. Now that's not free as well. You do have to pay to get your account set up. I don't remember, I believe it was like $10 to set up when I started. These are American prices. So $10 to set up your account and $25 to play in the event. So it's not free. It's not like Arena. MTGO is not built on the same business model. However, you do get access to multiple weeks of having all of these cards. And then you also get to play in up to 6 different events. So they have 3 legacy tourneys and 3 vintage tourneys. So these are old school. If you've ever wanted to mess around with the craziest, oldest, most powerful cards, have you ever wanted a deck where you have 4 of all the original dual lands and you get to mess around with Black Lotus and all the other good stuff, Time Twister, Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, the Power 9, all the glorious cards you may not have gotten to play with? Or are you like me and you actually played with those cards back in the day when the game was new and now it's way too expensive to even consider owning those cards? Well, in both scenarios, you will get the joy of going and playing with all this old school stuff. And let me show you one of the prizes you can win. Up on the screen is the Time Twister artwork. So basically, when you play in these events, if you come in first place in these tournaments, you will win a piece of Magic artwork. The one on the screen is for the Time Twister. So basically, like, Wizards will have new artwork commissioned for old school cards because it's more cost effective for them. The original artwork was done under a royalty basis, so Wizards of the Coast has to pay every time they use that artwork, versus nowadays where they just pay the artist a flat fee and own the artwork outright. So that's why they redo these. But this Time Twister artwork is absolutely gorgeous. So you can could win this artwork. You could win artwork for a Mox Emerald or Mox Ruby. These are new edition artworks. Or you can win Wasteland, Bayou, or Sylvan Library. So if you want to win Mox Emerald, Ruby, or Time Twister, you play in the vintage events, and those happen on the second weekend. And then the Legacy Tournament, that's the first one, and that's how you get Wasteland, Bayou, and Sylvan Library. And there are a bunch of other prizes as well. If you come in first, not only do you get this artwork, you get a full foil set of Crimson Vow. It lists in the prize full foil set of most recent standard set, but since Crimson Vow releases right then, it has to be Crimson Vow. Now, as far as I understand, it's not a physical set that they send you. They give it to you digitally. I could be wrong about that, but here's how it works on MTGO in case you didn't know. If you collect up a full set of cards of a new set like Crimson Vow, you can actually have them take the cards out of your digital set and physically mail you a set. So you can literally convert digital cards into physical cards. So even if you did win a foil set on MTGO, you could just pay them whatever the shipping fee is nowadays, because it's been a long time since I've looked, but you can pay them whatever the shipping fee is, and they'll send you out a full foil set of Crimson Vow, right? So that, to me, if you haven't tried out MTGO, this is an opportunity to do so, obviously, if the numbers line up for you. But for me, it's a pretty hype event. Now, on the other side of things, if you like to play on Arena and you just want to mess around and have a good time, you don't want to worry about getting into MTGO and spending all that money, Arena has an event right now going on called Jump In, which is very similar to the Jumpstart event that we already saw. But now this one's just kind of based around standard sets. So how it works is it's 1,000 gold or 200 gems to play in it. You get 2 little packets just like the Jumpstart event. Each packet has a rare in it from a standard set, so that's not too shabby to begin with. The prizing is a little bit weak, though. You can only win 1 card per event that you play in, and 95% of the time, that card's going to be an uncommon. 5% of the time, it'll be upgraded to a rare. So for me, it's a very, it's something you can get a new iteration of every day, because you can easily get 1,000 gold every day on Arena, and then you can play in a new Jumpstart event each year, or not Jumpstart, Jump In event. Now, this technically started a couple of days ago, and I wanted to talk about it and let you guys know, but I didn't really have a video to slide it into. So I figured I would just kind of tack it on to talking about the Eternal Weekend, because the Eternal Weekend is really the juice. I have an MTGO account, and this is making me consider dusting it off and messing around. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, the next item I want to talk about is the Color Pie update. Now, this is actually a huge item. So, if you're not aware, Wizards of the Coast uses something called the Color Pie to balance the 5 colors of Magic. It's essentially dividing up the abilities across different colors. Because you'll notice when you play Magic, certain colors have tons of cards with particular abilities, and certain colors don't have that ability at all. Like, think about Lifelink. If you think about Lifelink, what colors do you think about? You think about white, very obviously, because white is number 1 for Lifelink. Well, black is like number 2 for Lifelink. And if you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of black creatures with Lifelink. Now I want you to think about how many cards that are green with Lifelink exist currently in Standard. Not very many, right? Does the Prosperous Innkeeper have lifelink? I don't even know. He gives you life when a creature comes out. But either way, that's how it works. Abilities are divided up into different colors. You won't see particular abilities in particular colors, but the outline of what belongs to who changes in the Color Pie over time. When Magic first started, the Color Pie was really, really skewed in favor of blue. If anything was considered tricky in any way, it was put into blue's Color Pie. Which, I mean, think about all the different things in Magic that feel tricky. It was very, very unbalanced. So over the years, the Color Pie has shifted, and sometimes that results in colors not being that great. When Magic started, green's share of the Color Pie meant that green was essentially the worst color in Magic. Now, over time, it feels like white has actually shifted into the color that has the hardest time with the Color Pie and has the worst slice of the Color Pie, because white seems to be consistently left behind. It does okay somewhat in Standard, it seems like, but overall, it just seems like it's at the back of the pack. So, Mark Rosewater has released an updated article about the color pie. The last one was put out, if I'm not mistaken, in 2017. So this is like a 4-year update. And the thing about these announcements is not only will they help you to understand where the color pie is currently, it can sometimes give you a bit of a glimpse into the future as well, because Rosewater and everybody at Wizards of the Coast essentially is working about 2 years out into the future. So he's basically trying to pull himself back 2 years and give us information on the color pie as it is 2 years back from what he's working on right now, our current state. They're always like way ahead in the future with Magic design. So it's a way to kind of see how the colors are going to shift. Now, there is a ton of stuff in this article, so it's something you're probably going to want to go and read yourself. I wasn't sure if it would be interesting enough to devote a video to it, but you know what, let me know in the comments if it's something that a lot of you want to like hear about, the breakdown of the color pie and how it's changed over the years. We definitely can talk about that. All right, so I want to end off on a fun, silly little note. There is an internet Twitter bot that is dedicated to making bad Magic flavor text. And some of them are pretty silly and fun. So for example, one of them says, as he tried to walk away from the scene, he suddenly remembered that walking was the one thing he had never done in life. It's just silly like that. Or to defeat the Order of the Ebon Hand, first, you must know their name. It's just ridiculous silliness. So if you want to check that out, it's FlavorBot1 on Twitter. All right, that wraps up the news for today. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for coming by. Big shout out to all my patrons, and I'll see you all in the next video.